Hello and welcome to another first impression video. I'm Drew Wilson from FreezeNet. Today we are going to be playing the racing game MotorStorm. This game was released in 2007. So, I've got 10 minutes on the clock. Let's see what this game is all about. So, this is going to be the second video I'm going to be doing for the PlayStation 3, and so far it's looking pretty good. And okay, what is acceleration? Aha. Okay, so right off the bat I learned something new. R2 is acceleration. Yeah, and you can probably tell that, yeah, one of the reasons why I might have confused the two. Oh, I'm doing fantastic already. Is that the previous game I played was Ridge Racer 7, and yeah, acceleration was the cross sign, but in this case it's definitely different. It's R2. Yeah, so I have some experience with rally style games, but usually it involves like point A to point B racing games. There is some games I played with like this style of like dirt style racing. That includes what was it? Gran Turismo. I want to say 3. It could have been 4. Actually, they were probably both games probably had that. Had that style of racing, but it was like very limited. Oh, the physics are amazing in this game. You rear end someone, you end up going. All right, so I think that meant I was trying different buttons there, and I think that was L1 that allowed that. I don't know. I am downright losing right now. Awesome. Well, I've never played this before, so hardly a surprise. Yeah, so generally racing games that involve like dirt tracks, like obviously like it has implications just like real life. For instance, if you take a sharp turn, then on pavement style tracks, you're generally gonna get good grip unless you hit the turn really hard and more than what the car can allow. But in rally races, you can expect, and I missed that turn, you can expect like slippage, so it kind of helps, the emphasis kind of is on like drifting a little bit. Yikes. Oh well, and I'm sure with practice I'll get better at this. Like I don't even know the tracks at all. Like this is literally just me seeing this whole track for the first time. Oh well. Anyway, usually you can kind of rely a little bit more on the drift style racing because the tracks allow that more. And I think this game has a little bit more. I guess you kind of have to anticipate. I don't know what that was. I'll just avoid that. Looks like you have to kind of anticipate where you're going more, and it's a little less predictable. Obviously, with all the bumps in the road. Forget the jump. This is actually reminding me of. Yeah, I'm probably not going to win this one, but It kind of reminds me of Wave Race, both Blue Storm and 64. Wave Race 64 was better, by the way. If you're gonna play, if you had a choice between the two, I recommend Wave Race 64. But yeah, just the bumps and just hitting like airtime almost all the time. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that in a way. There doesn't seem to be much in the way of drafting on this game, unless I'm doing it wrong. Would help if I decided which way I was going the second time around. Not the second time around, but before I make the turn anyway. Yeah, so this game, when I first started this up, I noticed that it had like tons of different types of vehicles. There were motorbikes, or dirt bikes, I suppose I should say, and rallier cars, rigs, buggies. So there's a lot to choose from. I decided to see what it was like to play something more middle of the road. That's just a default thing I do to kind of, when I'm not used to a game. Are you kidding me? No. 5th place for a game I haven't played before. That's okay. Yeah, this game definitely has a lot of the licensed music, which I've noticed has that's been a thing for a while now. It started generally around the PlayStation 2 era, / GameCube era. And it happened on the N64 as well. Not very often. I think Wipeout 64 had that. Failed to qualify. Hey, I'm going to give this another shot. Now that I know what acceleration is. Anyway, Wipeout 64 had that. Is there reverse? Yes, there is. I guess I got out of it. What other games had that? There were a few anyway. But because the cartridge didn't have quite as much memory at the time, then it was kind of hard to squeeze that in. Even if they did squeeze it in, there was a lot of compression going on. That became a thing of the past when you hit PlayStation 2, and there were still games with like their own built-in music that was made in-house. But that was no longer a requirement. You no longer had to rely on like the chiptune type of music. That was sort of by that point in time relegated to the handhelds. And even then, they could start compressing music down so that they can fit on the handhelds, like Game Boy Advance. I think I saw a little bit of the compression in the Game Boy. I think it was Game Boy, not Game Boy Color. Was it Game Boy Color? Anyway, it started to become a thing in handhelds, but obviously the technology at the time wasn't ideal, I guess you could say, for storing a whole bunch of music. But once the storage capacities increased substantially, you got to the point where you could fit like entire albums on those without a problem. Okay, right hand side was bad, not that I have a choice. I hit the ramp. Okay. Yeah, you could, like, those Burnout games when they were around the PlayStation 2 era, GameCube era, they had tons of music, and it was like a world of difference. Like, wow, you could fit like that much music on a single game like that, and now we kind of take it for granted. Of course you can. So yeah, bit of a history lesson on that one. Yeah, I'm doing a lot better this time around. I guess it helps to have a little bit of practice. Wow. All right, well, probably not the most amazing start in the world, but that is actually time. So an interesting game so far. I look forward to seeing like how I can obviously master the handling, because I was just not doing the greatest in the world on that. So I'll eventually figure that out. That'll come with time, I'm sure of that. So that is it. So if you enjoyed this video, you can feel free to drop us a like. You can subscribe to us if you're interested in seeing more videos from us. This video, I kind of tweaked a few settings in OBS. I kind of mentioned that in the last video description, so hopefully it was a little bit better quality. I mean, it seemed to be okay, but I wanted to tweak things a little bit. Let me know if you notice any kind of difference. That'd be cool. So if you want to support us beyond subscribing to our YouTube channel, you can also subscribe to our Patreon page at patreon.com/freezenet. And by financially supporting us, you can help us afford these games, because this is getting a little bit expensive after a while. So hopefully, if you want to see more up-to-date games, I hope to eventually get to more modern era games. Like, I know this is a slightly older game by today's standards, but yeah, that's the long-term goal, is to get to the more today's type games. So that's another way you can support us, is through Patreon. We also have a coffee at coffee.com/freezenet. So in the event that you don't want to do like this long-term commitment, or don't want to pay us a monthly thing, you can support us through that and just do a one-time tip jar and say, hey, you're doing a great job, we want to support you. And that'll help us out a lot too. Every little bit helps. Doesn't matter how big or small. Every little bit helps, and it'll go towards everything related to FreezeNet, these videos, podcast, everything. And there's also our website at freezenet.ca. Through that, you can check out all our music reviews, video game reviews. We have news. We have tons of stuff on that. We have a full-fledged wiki. You can check out like brand new music we haven't even reviewed yet, and that's pretty cool too. We actually got about 9 podcasting shows archived so far. You can just check out the documentation of everything, and there's like 2,000 hours worth of music on there already. We got a lot on there, to say the least. So there's also that too on our website. So check us out at freezenet.ca if you want to learn more. So I guess that is it, and until next time, keep it cool.